Hi, my name is Tim, and today I'm going to show you how to make a very good, nutritious salad. Because in many of your experiences, you may not have been able to make a good salad that's, number one, very nutritious, and number two, that you might enjoy the flavor of it, and number three, that your kids might like. And so, speaking out of experience, me making this kind of salad is a salad that my children will actually eat. And also with the ingredients that we're going to use here today, they are good ingredients that are ingredients that what we've talked about on part one, ingredients that God made, not something that a man manufactured. And that's very important for us to understand as we continue through the rest of the ways that I'll show you how to cook. Is we use less ingredients that man makes and more ingredients that God makes, such as things that grow on a vine or a tree or come up out of the earth. And that's what I really want to focus on, so that we can live disease-free, sickness-free, so that these bad things won't happen to us physically. So today I'm going to show you how to make a very good nutritional salad. And the last time that I showed you something was asparagus. And one thing that I always try to do in my cookings when I'm feeding my family is I want to build around the vegetables, the nutritional part, and then I'll add a little bit of protein in later. So today we're going to get started on making a very good, healthy, nutritious salad. And one of the things that I always like to make sure that I do is get lettuce that's green. Okay, good green lettuces such as romaine or leaf lettuce. Those are really good nutritional lettuces. I would highly recommend staying away from iceberg lettuce. Maybe the purple lettuces that you'll find there too. This is kind of an artesian, darker green leaf lettuce that I like to use. I like the flavor of it. So what I'm going to simply do here is I'm going to start by cutting up our lettuce. And it's real simple. You just kind of slice it in half and just chop the lettuce and edible pieces that you would want to eat. You know, keep that in mind as you're cutting up lettuce. You don't want big pieces of lettuce, something that you're going to have to cram into your mouth. You want good edible pieces of lettuce that you can put on the end of your fork. And I've got actually two kinds of lettuces here, and that's what I'm going to use to make this particular salad. But you could very well easily use a good romaine and leaf lettuce. Any of those are perfectly fine, but always keep in mind, if you're going to be making a salad, a darker green lettuce is what you will get the most nutritional value out of it. Now, what I also like to do in making my salad, this is more like an Italian style salad, but it's very nutritious, and I like to take purple onion. Purple onions, to me, there's a sweetness to them that they're going to add to the salad, which is really dynamite. So you don't want to take too much onion, just enough to taste it. So I'll take a little slice down the middle. I've already cut it in half, a little slice down the middle, and I'll just shave about, I don't know, maybe about 3 of those off, 3 rows of slices off, and I'll just kind of break that up and ensure that I've got it broken up good enough so that it'll distribute evenly among the lettuces there. And then next I've got a red bell pepper. And the reason I like red bell peppers personally is because I personally like the flavor, and number 2, they're high in vitamin C. And so you may not want to use the whole thing, but maybe a half or a third of that, and you want to be sure to get out those seeds. And it just depends on how you want to chop it up. I like to kind of chop it in half, and then what I like to do is I just like to make it in, or chop it in good enough edible bite-sized pieces that aren't going to be too big, so that you got to cram it in your mouth. There we go. So we'll just take those and we'll toss those in there. And next I like to add cucumbers, because about a half a cucumber, my kids really like cucumbers, and you just need a simple vegetable peeler and get rid of the skin. You don't have to get rid of the skin. There's actually nutrition in the skin if you choose to leave the skin on, but I know that my children just will not eat the cucumbers if the skin is on it. So that's one of the main reasons that I always get rid of the skin of a cucumber. And anytime that we're dealing with vegetables or ingredients to go in a salad, you always want to make sure that you wash everything and wash it real good. And one thing that I like to do is, if you've got a water filtration system on your kitchen sink, rinse them with the filtered water. And then I like to cut this cucumber in half, and then I'll just dice it up into edible little cubes, just like this. Okay, and then we'll take those, and then we will toss them in our salad. And then the next step is going to take, or what we're going to do is we're going to put our flavoring in it, so to speak. And I like to take sea salt. I always use sea salt because sea salt, there's just really good flavor and a couple good pinches of sea salt. And I like, this is real simple. You can buy this at the store. It's called Salad Supreme. It's got a lot of good flavor in there. You could very well easily use, you know, basil, oregano, maybe even a little Parmesan cheese. And so I just like to put a good amount on my salad, just like that, as well as a little fresh cracked pepper. I like my fresh cracked pepper. And then next what we want to do is we want to take some red wine vinegar. Not too much, just enough to coat a little bit of the top. Maybe if I had to give a measuring portion to, I'd probably say maybe a teaspoon. And then we want to take balsamic vinegar. This is where that deep, rich flavor is going to come from. And probably maybe if I were to give a measuring amount to the balsamic, I would probably say about a tablespoon. And then last, we want to take some extra virgin olive oil, and this oil is very nutritious, and this is one of those oils that I talked about on part one. It's one of the oils that I don't really cook with anymore. It's an oil that I like to eat with on my salad, in my salads, or if I'm topping a vegetable or something along those lines, because this is a very nutritious oil just by itself without cooking. And you want to put probably about a tablespoon. You want just enough. You don't want to smother the salad to the point to where it's kind of soaking in like a pool of liquid, because the lettuce, it'll get too moist and the flavor will just be overpowering, because you don't want it too moist. And so what I want to do from that point is I just want to get me a spoon here, and I just want to toss that around, mix it through real good. And one of the things that you'll notice when you're making a salad is that you want a nice coating on all of the leaves and all of the vegetables that are in there. See, if I do that, you may not be able to tell really well with the camera. There should be just about maybe a teaspoon of the liquid that kind of runs to the end of the bowl if you tilt it. So I'm just going to mix that through really good, just like that. Alright, and that should be a very good, I can just smell the flavors right there of the oil, of the vinegar, and some of the greens. It seems to be mixed through pretty well. And then the last thing that I like to do is I like to use me some vine-ripened tomatoes, and I like to top off the salad with some vine-ripened tomatoes. And I'm just going to cut the tomato in half, nothing super special. And I'm just going to toss those in there. And I'll take another one. Actually, you know what? I'll probably use all three of those. And I'll toss them right there on top of the salad. Just like so. Cut them in 4 ways. And then throw those right there on top. And then what I like to do is I like to finish those tomatoes off with a little bit of sea salt. And what you got here is a very healthy, nutritious salad that all of your kids and probably most all of you guys will probably enjoy. And I've used nothing but good, healthy ingredients. And actually the tomatoes are organic vine-ripened tomatoes, so they're going to be very sweet. Just like the onions, they're going to add to the acidic and create the right balance to have a very delicious, nutritious salad that all of your family will enjoy. Alright, watch for the next set of videos coming for part 3.